Hello, my BMX nerd friends. Welcome back to another episode of Kanode Knows, brought to you by Dig BMX. This week's guest, Chase fucking Hawk. I'm stoked. I've always loved Chase's riding. I remember him from like Road Fools 14. So he's been somebody that I've been watching forever, and for most of you, probably the same. Easily one of the longest in the game, and just smooth, goat, and fun to talk to. It's cool to see behind the curtain because for me, all I've seen is him riding. So to get to sit and talk with him for however long this episode is was really cool. Chase, thanks for coming on. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you smash that like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, seriously, leave a review. If it's good, if you like it. Once again, thank you guys for all the messages. Thank you for the support and like getting more guests. This is like, I got recruiters out there. Shout out Robin Sloot. Shout out Dig BMX. And that's enough for me. Let's get into this conversation with Chase Hawk. Hello, Chase Hawk.
What's good, man? How are you doing?
Poppin'? I'm doing great. I was out of town. Went to Atlanta for a week, and then San Diego for a week, and then LA for a couple days, and now I'm finally get back into the routine with my doggo and working out, and stoked. It's been a good morning.
Nice. That's
what about
awesome.
you?
Man, I've been good. Just been in Austin for the last few weeks. We did a little burn slow trip out to Cleveland last month. So that was like the last trip I was on. And we got a video for that coming out in a couple weeks. So kind of just been chilling since then, riding some stuff around here and starting to cool off in Austin. So that's always nice. It's been a fucking brutal summer. So
for real, same here. Like I came back and I was like, oh, it's only 100. It's not 120. This is beautiful.
Yeah, you're AZ. You know how it works, dude. Yeah.
Yep. Adam sent over a unlisted copy of that video. And
oh, did he?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm wondering if we should go over it on here or not, because this will come out Monday and the video won't even be out yet. So maybe we'll keep it secret for now. But
yeah, whatever you want to do, man. Yeah, I'm hyped on it though. I'm stoked how it turned out. I mean, I haven't been to Cleveland in like fucking 15 years or something like that. So, and it's oddly a place that I used to spend a lot of time at. So it was cool to go back and, I don't know, see new stuff, revisit old stuff.
Why'd you spend a lot of time there? Because they're good skate parks or road fools type shit or what?
Man, well, I guess back in the day, I spent the most time there because of like all the Shine and Shook dudes. I would go and stay with Chad Shackelford, Jamie Clues, Scooter, Willie, like that whole crew. I mean, because they came down here, in like the very early stages of Shine, and that's kind of how I met all of them. And then I think one winter I just like, they were down here and I went back there with them and spent a couple months up in Cleveland riding Changa. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to spend time in Youngstown too. Like, I don't know. It was just, there was a pretty big scene there back in the day, so it was a lot going on.
Back when you were known as, this is like the same time period as Steve Crandall calling you Ratty, like on those.
Oh yeah,
on those
old
ones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, I was like, it's probably still a teenager staying at their house,
right?
Like,
yeah,
which was cool. Like they were down for that too, like, just let some little kid from Austin come and fucking stay on the couch for a couple months.
As long as he shreds and goes high on the bike and can kick it and party, then hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, totally. And those guys were always riding and filming too, so it gave me a good opportunity to like get some camera time in too. Which was, I don't know, hard to find back then.
Yeah, it's a different, different.
It was a different
nowadays.
era, man. Like pre iPhones, all that shit. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, there weren't. Yeah. So
and you're like a couple years old. I think you're 36. If I did my research right, I'm 32. So a little bit of a difference, but like,
yeah,
it's still the same, just evolution. I remember videos going up on Vimeo and YouTube, and maybe they made it on the blog of like the Come Up or whatever. And even before that, it was just DVDs. And yeah, Chad Shackelford was my first like uh I bumped into him at Interbike and I was so stoked. I was like, Chad Shackelford, no fucking
Yeah.
way, you know? What was it like hanging out with Chad Shackelford? Just selfishly, I want to know. Like what yeah, what was he
Dude,
like then? What is he doing now? Where's Chad Shackelford at?
well, back then, I mean, that whole crew was really awesome to hang out with and travel with. I mean, like I said, like there weren't many people doing it back then, and especially on like a video magazine level that they were doing it on, like it was props and then there was Shine,
Yeah.
and nobody else. So like if you weren't on a props trip, you were on a Shine trip, and like I don't know, it was that they were younger and they were always on the road, like always going to new places, with different groups of people. Like, I don't know, it was rad. I
Do you
mean,
remember, was it all like self-funded or like was cuz I mean, DVD sales used to make money and now that's extinct. But like maybe back then the sales of Shook and Shine covered the expenses of the trip, or were you guys all like footing the bill yourselves?
both. And then you also got to think like just how much cheaper and more raw like everything was done back then. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like 10 guys in a room was like the norm,
Yeah.
and like 5 guys on the floor was the norm.
Yeah.
Like it was just everything was treated way differently back then because that's the way it had to be. You
Right.
know, gas was fucking $1. I don't know. It was way cheaper back then. Like it's same with the vehicle. You'd stick 10 people in one car and just see how fucking far you could go.
Yeah.
Like everything was done on a smaller budget, on a and definitely people were putting their own money into it too. Like
Yeah.
everything was just
DIY.
uh yeah,
Lo-
like
Bootstrap and DIY.
by any means possible, basically. Like however you fucking had to do it, that's how you did it. It just all that mattered was that you were doing it, you
Right.
know?
I
Yeah.
wonder, so what was Chase Hawk's first sponsor? Do you remember? I mean, you must remember, right?
Well, if we're going back to race days or not,
Okay, so you grew up racing. That's sick.
yeah, I mean, that was a huge part of my life, I mean, that's how I started out riding was racing, I mean, I rode Ninth Street really that whole time that I was racing. So I was always dirt jumping too. But I mean, there weren't skate parks in Austin back then. There
Yeah.
wasn't like a public cement park back then. There wasn't a wooden skate park. There wasn't a wooden skate park in Austin until I was like 13 or 14.
Just straight dirt
And
jumps and BMX tracks.
exactly. I mean, and I had already been I started riding when I was 7. Like I got my first BMX bike on my 7th birthday.
That explains the
So
bike control, dude. I was just
yeah,
talking
I
about
mean,
this with somebody. Like people who grow up racing, it's just like I don't. It's like ingrained in you and how to, I don't know, maneuver a bike around. It's pretty wild. I'm jealous. I wish I started racing when I was young. I waited until I was like 16, and so the feeling of going in the air is terrifying to me. I watch you guys ride, like people like that ride like you, and I'm just like, wow, that looks like it feels really cool.
I feel like
Wee.
it I feel like it's one of those main things in BMX where you can really tell someone that's been riding a long time whether or not they did it when they were younger or not.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
really, like, without even having to ask them the question of whether they did or not. You can
Yeah.
just kind of tell,
Yep.
like, oh, Peraza used to race, Dennis
Yep.
used to race, Curly used to race.
Yep.
Like, you know, you can fucking tell just by watching them pedal a bike,
For
like
real.
it's just it's a dead giveaway type of thing,
They
and
carry
there's not,
themselves different.
yeah. Um
Man, those
I'm
dudes are all awesome that you just listed. They can do literally everything.
Yeah, exactly. And they all fucking started out on a racetrack, you know, for a good portion of how long they've been riding.
Yeah,
For years and years they spent on a racetrack. Going to nationals, all that shit. Like
for
did the
real.
whole did the whole shebang. Like
And you did the whole shebang too, just at 7 years old, or what? How like? I mean, let's get into it. What was your first race sponsor? Did you get a race sponsor? Were
yeah, I
you
mean
winning
like
races?
but it was it was small. It was like a local track sponsor. But it was at that time it was through a local bike shop here in Austin called Bicycle Sport Shop. That was
Shout out
literally
Bicycle Sports Shop, holding it
yeah.
down.
Yeah, I mean they're still holding it down, like, and it's not by no means like a BMX shop at all. It's like I mean, back then they had a small race section, but it was mountain bikes, road bikes. Like it was
Yeah,
just where it's still a place just like where families go to just buy fucking bikes, right? It's not Empire, like,
yeah.
by any means.
It's
Um,
still pretty rare to have just like a core BMX shop like Empire. Like we even out here, the ones that are like core, that you still got to make money, sell regular bikes to regular people. It's hard to just keep it only BMX. Does Empire
dude,
do all kinds of other shit too?
no, I mean Empire's
That's what's up.
they're about as core as it gets,
That's what's up.
and especially on the level that they're doing it at, like they're strictly BMX. And if they get into I mean, they carry some Fairdales and stuff, but that's obviously
That's
because
still core because it's
they
Taj.
support
Yeah,
Taj, like
yeah.
that's like I don't that's why,
I gotta
it's
get me a Fairdale, dude, just for like riding my bike with my dog, cruising around. I like
yeah,
being on the BMX, but a Fairdale, dude. That's the next.
yeah,
After this, we're
Fairdale's,
buying one.
yeah, shout out Taj for sure.
Well, let's stick with the younger years. How did you go from? I mean, you're racing, you're hitting the jumps. Who are you looking at? Like, who's your first? Like, oh my god, it's him. Who was your first rider that you were like geeking out on?
Well, let's see. I mean, first off, I mean, I think I gotta first mention that, like, I mean, I'm really lucky to have spent my whole time on a BMX bike in Austin, and especially and just gotten to experience all these different eras and cycles of riders that have traveled here and lived here. I mean, at certain times, all the best have spent a lot of fucking time in
Yeah,
Austin, and it's one of those monumental destinations that isn't like a lot of other places. So it's like I'm really lucky to have like spent so much time here and from a young age to now, and just seen it all fucking change like a bunch of times,
yeah.
and
There's different eras, and you don't realize that you're in an era until after it's over. You know what I mean? Like that's happened to me in Tempe. Like over the 15 years of being here, there's like the era where there's this BMX house here and that whole crew's there, and then people move out of town, and then a whole new wave moves in, and it's just I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
exactly, yeah. And I mean, back then, I mean, like when I first started, you know, like homeless bikes started here, and like their whole crew was from here, and I was at 9th Street, 5 days a week, and that was like one of the only places to ride in town. So you'd show up, and I mean, yeah, it'd be Kevin Gutierrez and James Shepard and Lee Soldemeyer. And like back then, dude, like those were some of the heaviest dudes, like the Goot was on GT back then. And I mean, I remember, you know, he would always leave to go on tour with Volker and shit. Like, I mean, this is like early 90s,
It's so crazy to think back.
Um,
Yeah.
so you think, you go from that era to like Road Fools 1 era. Like I remember all
Sheesh.
this shit, and like,
Yeah.
you know, I remember when Taj and Joe moved there. I remember Taj. I don't even know if Taj had dreadlocks yet when he moved to Austin,
That's
which
crazy
was
to think about. Yeah.
like he was fucking probably 1920 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I remember meeting Joe for the first time. He had driven down there with Mira from Woodward,
Damn.
And I had like, I mean, this is probably 94, 95 when he was on a yellow Blammo. So
So you're
there's like,
9 years old at this point, I think,
yeah,
ish, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And obviously I knew who he was just by like seeing the bike almost. Like I think, I'd seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny because me and Joe still talk about it. Like the story gets brought up sometimes, but um basically like they rolled up at 9th Street together and I was there and I went up straight to Dave and was like geeking out on him, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I forget, I said something stupid to Joe, like, who's this guy or who are you or something? Why are you with him? Or something. I said something along those lines,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I think Joe
Those
just told
stick
me
in your
that.
head,
Yeah.
dude. I've had plenty of those. I'm like, oh, what did I just say? Whatever.
I yeah, man. It's pretty notorious for fucking opening my mouth at the wrong time back then. Yeah.
So crazy to think about. I think about like longevity in BMX riders, and you are easily like one of the most. I don't know the word. You have the most longevity. It seems like you were big from I don't even know 20 years ago, and you're still going strong. I just watched, dude, some local TV segment. You were on 6 years ago. You were on local Austin television, and he's like,
Yeah.
congratulations on having a day named after you. So let's talk
Yeah.
about your born and raised. And then you said, can we retake that question? And they just left it in. They didn't edit it out. They were just like, okay, we'll start over. 3, 2, 1. So how do you feel about running born and raised? Which actually leads me. So, all right, so many things, but you win X Games gold medal. And then the mayor gives you a day, which is fucking insane. You might be the only BMX rider with a day. Is there another BMX rider with a day?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no. That's pretty dope. And
I could think of a few that definitely deserve it,
right,
know?
yeah, same.
So hopefully it becomes more of a thing,
Yeah.
But I definitely look at it as being like, I don't know, I hold that up there next to an X Games gold or a Nora Cup or something. Like that's a fucking pretty big accolade for me, especially especially to have it in the city I'm from,
I know.
It fucking meant a lot and still does.
Dude, how'd you meet the mayor? Like, was he just at the X Games and that's the first time you met, or were you like involved in city council or some shit? Like, how did this happen?
No, I mean, I think it made big ground and a lot of impact because it was huge for X Games to come to Austin just in the first place. And I just so happened to win the very first year that it was here. And I'm from Austin. So the story that they were able to build behind it was like, I don't know, like they just kind of wanted to capitalize on all angles of it, which was cool. It was like a hell of an opportunity to take advantage of for sure,
For real.
like, and I don't know, like after I won I don't like the governor shouted me out on Twitter and like it just like then the mayor hit me up, and then I think that's probably had something that is like, we might have to give this dude a day or some shit, like
you're gonna wind up in politics after your BMX career is over.
No, that's Aaron Ross. That's Aaron Ross's
you think so?
job. I mean,
if anybody could, he could.
He always jokes about it that he's going to be mayor somewhere someday.
I could see it. He's doing the most, man. From what I can tell, Aaron is doing like real estate. He's still involved in BMX. He's got his like food truck. He's an entrepreneur. What else is he doing? Do you know? Like,
fuck, what else can you be doing?
I know, right?
Like between all that shit, that's a full plate. Like
for real.
I don't want to be doing. If I got all that on my plate, I don't want to be doing anything else.
For real. I pick one thing and go hard on that, and that's it's hard to do multiple things well and stay focused. Yeah,
you either got it or you don't. I mean, and yeah, his just hearing about his schedule sometimes fucking stresses me out. I'm just like, you're too goddamn busy, dude. Like, I need a little bit of chill time. Like,
I agree. I also need some chill time.
Yeah.
What is a day in the life of your life? We'll get back to Cleveland and your first sponsors and shit, but what is a like average day for you look like right now? Like what's your morning routine and how often? I mean, yeah, just run me through like I guess today. It's still morning time. What do you got going on today?
Yeah, I mean, with the baby now, like,
Congrats.
mornings. Thank you, thank you. With having him though, the mornings are semi routine-ish. I'm up by 7:30, like literally every day. He won't sleep in really past that.
Yeah.
Um, and then he's in like a Montessori like daycare school 5 days a week, and we usually try and get him there like a little before 9 or so. So Monday through Friday, like we're up and about that time, and we do breakfast and get him ready for school, and
Just wholesome family shit. I
like
love it.
literally pretty fucking wholesome, yeah. And I'll drop him off, right, and then come home, and my wife works from home most of the time, so she kind of starts her day, and that's usually when I'll head into town and ride. um I moved outside of Austin actually last summer, so I'm like 30 minutes outside the city now. um
Did you buy a house or something?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I
Good for
yeah
you.
I Well, I sold my other house, and it was the right time to do it, um, in the sense of trying to buy out where I wanted to move to, just because I wanted to be on the outskirts and move onto a little bit of land because I wanted to build a ramp, right?
Hell
You
yeah.
know, I mean, I felt like that was like the best step for the next stages of my career, really.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to have my own space that I could just fucking use whenever I want,
Right.
and not have to depend on driving to the park for a session every
Yeah.
time I want to ride.
That's
Not to
dope.
say that I won't still do that a lot, but I think at this point with having the baby and whatnot, like if I feel like riding, I want to be able to go in my backyard and do it and just have that accessibility,
Yeah.
right there, and not have to worry about anything else. And
And
I
get
don't
the
know,
reps in.
be I can ride it by myself. I can be in control of who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, all
Yeah.
sorts of shit, Like I just
Yeah.
feel like it's an important time to take advantage of something like that
It is because we're in
with
this weird,
me.
weird era where we are all our own media companies now. And so, like, with you and your job being BMX and just like keeping, I don't, do you think that it requires, I mean, as you've gotten older, I mean, 36 isn't that old, but like, have you
No,
changed your approach? Because I think when we're all young, we just get out of the van, we don't stretch. Brian Foster's making fun of the young kids, like, these kids can just go. What
and
is
now he's a
like, have
fucking
you,
doctor. Who's
yeah.
talking shit now? Now he's fixing everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucking put his foot in his own mouth on that one, huh?
So good, dude. But
Fucking
what about
Fez.
your approach in like I don't know in your writing? Has it changed at all? Are you doing? I see a lot of pros doing like physical training and weightlifting and all that shit. Are you doing any of that? Like what?
Yeah.
How do you stay on top of your game?
Yeah, I do all of that. I've actually I'm like 10 years into that cycle of, working with a personal trainer, um, all that shit, you
Dope.
know, not necessarily so much on the diet end, but I think that that's more so just because, like, I don't know, I don't really have to worry about it a whole lot,
Yeah, you
and
got that good metabolism, huh?
yeah, and I don't want to be excessive with any of it, right?
Right.
Like I still want to enjoy all of it, but like you definitely get to a certain age and you figure out what helps and what you're doing is hurting you, what you should fucking cut out, you know,
Hmm.
all sorts of shit, Like I mean, yeah, I mean, really, that's a whole different. I mean, we could
Yeah, let's
spend a lot
talk,
of
dude.
time.
Yeah, let's talk
I
about
don't
it.
know.
That's
We're
because
getting
I'm
away. We're getting
genuinely
away from my
curious.
day, though. We were just talking about
Oh
a
yeah.
normal day for me, you
Yeah,
know.
so all right, get back to it.
No, it's whatever. See, this is. I mean,
Just that's a,
I don't do this podcast thing
it's the
too much,
magic of
so
it because
I
it
could.
doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, we can
Tell me
just
about the
bounce
rest
all
of your
over the
day.
place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, basically that's usually when I go ride is after I drop Sage off at school, and then pick up for him is around 4. So really, I've got this window of time from like 10 to 4 usually, where I don't know, go ride for a few hours, and then usually come home, fucking clean up, and go pick him up, and then bring him back here, and usually go to a park or something, and
Nice.
do dinner and bedtime. Like really try and like have everything on a schedule, because that's what works best for him.
Yeah,
Like
routine is important for sure.
like we have him in his bathtub at like 7, like getting ready for bedtime,
Yeah.
like lights out by like 8ish or so, like every day,
How old is he
so
now?
he just turned 2 on the 20th of last month. So like
You've had a tough 2 years. I can only imagine, man.
I
I really want one. I want one
the
of them
the
little
toughest
guys.
2 fucking years I've had ever, for sure.
Yeah.
It's been the most like, I don't know, dude. It's just like this. It's fucking just always changing, and the highest highs and the lowest lows. It's just been wild. Like
Yeah.
not to mention just how fucking crazy the last 2 years have been in general.
Oh yeah.
So like raising the fucking baby in all of this, like I feel like other parents that are watching this that have done the same will definitely relate to what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah. It's been wild times.
this is a fucking wild time to raise a child right now.
Yeah, and just thinking about that in general, like I've talked to girls who are like, no, I don't want to have kids because the world's too messed up. And I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, I want to have kids so that they can be a part of maybe, I don't know, either just living a good life or trying to help fix the fucked up world at this
Yeah,
point,
no, I'm not even talking about it on that. I think like there's just, I don't know. There's certain things that have just been normal things that have been harder to do, right? And like I th- those things are only more intense with a baby.
Yeah, I
Really.
believe it. Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it has nothing to do with fucking
How
what's to
long
come or any of that shit.
how long were you and Lauren together before you decided to make a baby?
I mean, like 10 years or so,
Damn, yeah,
Yeah.
sick.
I mean, we're married for 7 now. So yeah,
Nice.
we've we put in our bid. It was time.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
what's up. I didn't see. I know like surface level chase hawk, but never got to. I've
I
never talked
try
to you.
and
Yeah,
I try and keep it that way.
yeah.
Everybody always knows surface me.
So let's get a little bit deeper, dude.
Nah.
No,
Yeah,
but
dude.
all right. So we'll bounce back to diet later. Let's go back to you making trips to Cleveland and your first sponsors
Oh yeah.
and Chad Shackelford. So forget racing for a second. Let's go into getting recognized in like the freestyle park world and video parts. And what was the first big thing that happened for you?
Fuck,
Like
first
road
big.
fools, maybe?
Well, I had a clip in a Road Fools. I had a clip in Road Fools 5.
Sick.
And around that same time, really really the first big thing that ever happened was I got a dig cover back then when I was
Sheesh.
like,
Yeah,
15 or 16.
that's a huge deal
Um,
back then.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and back then too, I mean, you're
Yeah.
just like so blindsided by it, like I remember just, and I'm a little fucking kid at that time, and had only really been riding ramps for a few years. So
Yeah.
like it was just it was so different back then. I don't know. I was one of the very few people that age in the the whole US really like seriously trying to ride on that level, at that age.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at now and it's like I'm competing against 16-year-olds that'll fucking beat me,
Yeah.
Like it was just way different back then, right? So like I walked into Trend one day and fucking Tina just handed it over to me and I was shocked, right?
Yeah.
Like um so I mean that was probably the first big thing to happen,
That's
and I
fire.
think like I was already getting, Robbie was already hooking me up with fit frames at that time,
Okay.
but just flowing me,
Yeah.
like, but that was because of the time that he had already spent in Austin, because he'd lived in Austin during like Road Fools 1 era
Okay.
and would always travel back there because Taj and Joe lived there, so you think all those early T1 years and
Yeah.
so what, like he had his eye on me or whatever. So like I was one of those lucky few to like start getting flowed really early on
Yeah.
when fit started out, and it
Dude,
was
Robbie's
because
got
it
his.
was
I've never met anybody who's got his finger on the pulse more than Robbie. Like, either he's like, because I barely bumped into him at Interbike once, and I'll never forget it. He just gave me a compliment, just like, "Oh, you're the free coaster kid from Arizona. I love your riding." And I was just like, "Oh my god," He's like
yeah.
so good with people and names and just knowing what's up. It's pretty awesome. And so he
He's
had his
really the
eye on young
best.
Chase Hawk.
There's no one better at it, like, and really even to this day,
Yeah,
I mean, he, like you're saying, you these kids don't think it, but he really does have his eye out there everywhere.
yeah,
He knows about a bunch of kids that I've never even fucking heard of,
right,
and just
yeah,
like, wow, that kid's actually really fucking good,
yeah,
like it's cool that about that, like he's always been good about, staying in tune with all of that. And then also, just knowing that BMX is always changing and new styles and new kids. It's hard to pay attention to it seriously on that level with
for
how
real.
fast shit's changing
Yeah,
now.
it
It's like
is impossible to see every clip that because like on just think about daily on Instagram how many clips get posted, and it's just like you only see the ones that get like reposted and blown up, but there's some gems
yeah.
that nobody sees.
Yeah, and back in the day it was easier to be in tune with that shit,
Yeah,
like there was less riders and there was less good riders and you knew who was fucking really good and deserved it, who
yeah.
wasn't, like yeah.
And it's just different media consumption. This is pre social media, which is fucking wild.
Yeah, we keep circling back. We're talking about Ohio, right?
Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
back to Cleveland. Chad Shackelford.
Yeah. So I think that was like, I mean, I think a lot of it had to do with kind of just going back to, um, I was like 16, 17 that time. I had moved out of my parents' house by that time because I was doing homeschool and I finished that shit. And
Nice.
I was looking to just like be away and with my friends like as much as I could, like whatever, like I said, by any means possible, so
Yeah.
if I could find a way up to an area to like then go stay with somebody that would allow me to fucking be on their couch for however long,
Yeah.
like I was just so game for it. Like
That's what's up.
it almost didn't even matter like where or who it was or how the fuck I got there or any of that shit. Like it just mattered that I got from point A to point B. And then when I got there, I was able to like take advantage of whatever that place had to offer,
Yeah.
Like
What are your
and
fondest memories from that period of time? That's interesting that you were homeschooled. What do you think about homeschool versus regular school? Do you feel like you're different because there's that stigma of like, oh, the homeschool kid is weird? I don't think
my
so though.
my son won't be fucking homeschooled. I know that much. So I mean, we can start the conversation off there if you want. Like, I mean, dude, I think it's I think it's got its ups and downs in every way that you look at it. And for me, I think the biggest takeaway that I could see at the time, and still do, like the biggest advantage of it was that I could travel more at a younger age and inevitably kind of like be done with it sooner,
Yeah.
and really just allow me to do BMX more
Yeah.
and give me more of a freedom to go the places I wanted to and do the shit that I wanted to, and not have to like be skipping class every week and whatnot and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
deal with all of that,
When you were
I don't
younger,
know.
was there anything besides BMX? Because like I know a lot of people like played sports and shit, but were you, because you raced, so then that's your shit. You're just BMX,
I've
homeschool BMX.
I've it's it's all I've ever fucking cared about since I was a little kid. It's all I've ever been able to put my 100% self into.
That's
Like
dope.
it and back then it was so intense. Like I couldn't think about anything else. And
Huh.
I didn't really want to do anything else. So if I wasn't riding 7 8 hours a day, that's what I did. That's how I had fun. That was the norm,
Yeah.
you know? Like, and whatever crew I could do that with, like that's who I fucking did it with, you
Yeah.
know? And those Shine dudes were down to do that.
That's
And
what's
like,
up.
and not only that, but be on the road and document it too,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't know. I think there was, I mean, I feel lucky to have been a part of that whole little era for how short-lived it was,
Right.
like I mean, I think there might have been less than 10 issues of Shine, and then it turned into Shook, and I think that there was only like 5 issues of that.
Yeah.
So it was like there wasn't a whole lot of it. It wasn't by no means comparable to like Props, right?
Yeah.
Which is really the only, I don't know.
It's
I mean, I guess you can talk about 411, but I never really paid attention to that shit. I never really thought that what they did was that good.
yeah.
I don't know.
Once I got like getting perspective, because I remember being a kid and geeking the fuck out over Shook. Like I just thought it was like this big, huge corporation that was like doing it. And then you realize as you get older, it's like, oh, this is all DIY. This is because like they wanted to do it. Chad, I assume it was Chad who like authored the DVDs and edited all the videos. He got submitted footage towards the end where like, yeah, and it's just DIY. You get perspective of like it is what you make it, and that's so sick that you were a part of those early days. What happens after your time with Shine and Shook? What was your first actual video part? I guess I could have like researched that, but what is it? What was it?
That's a good question. Um, fuck. Let's see. I mean, the in the last couple years, I had to do something where I had to put out all my full video parts that I've filmed, just on paper, and I think it's like close to 15 or something.
It's pretty sick.
Like, for full, for videos. Like,
Yeah.
uh, maybe the first one might have been a man-made video.
Cool.
Do you remember? Yeah, what is it? Riders from Hell or something might have been called. I
Riders
think
from
that was
Hell.
that might have that.
Cool.
I don't know if it was that video or a different one.
That's
Um,
wild.
but I mean,
When
like that's the video. Like there's footage of me from like a really old Roots jam, like in the part. Like, I mean, I think I had dyed black hair in
sick.
some of it. Like I was young, dude. Like
Yeah.
it was like my 15-year-old emo days for sure.
Yeah.
Like, um,
That was
but I
huge in
mean,
BMX for a long time. The skinny jeans, the emo hair, that was a big trend in the BMX world.
dude, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I mean, I think the first Empire video might have been not long after that.
That's dope
Um,
too.
had a lot of clips and different videos, you know. Obviously being a part of like some of those earlier Road Fools.
Yeah, tell me. I want
I
to
mean,
know, how did that come up? Road Fools. What was it like to be chosen for Road Fools? Like, did you get a phone call and just like how did this work? It seems like such a dream for a lot of BMX kids. Like, man, I wish if only I got invited on Road Fools, type shit. What was that like?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was fucking amazing. I think from what I remember, I think Stu reached out to me to ask me if I wanted to go, and it was obvious. I mean, he knew I wanted to go. That was so the first one that I was on was 14.
Yeah,
So
that's the one I remember. That's about when I started paying attention to BMX media. It was like Road Fools 14.
yeah, I
That
mean, and
era.
I grew up on those videos. I mean, right? Like I remember them being in Austin and being at 9th Street when they were filming for one.
Yeah,
Like so I was a lifelong fan,
yeah,
like been a part of it since the beginning. I mean, I some of the first videos I owned were like within like the first 10 issues of props. Props issue 5 or 6 was like one of my first videos. So it's like I've fucking grown up on props, right?
yeah,
And watched all the Road Fools religiously, all that shit,
yeah.
and even up to that time that I got asked to go on one. So
So Stu
yeah,
calls you, and then he says, "You want to come on a Road Fools?" And you're like, "Yes, obviously." And then
yeah.
what? Like, how does it? How are they made? Like, is it legit? Just are they flying people in and then hopping in a van and traveling like that? Is it like kind of
It's
like a
exactly how it looks, dude.
yeah
It really, I mean, like you get picked up from the airport in the bus, and you're probably, from what I remember, like the bus is on its way to a skate park when you get picked up. You
sick?
know,
Yeah,
like it starts right away, and yeah, I mean, back then, you know, there's also the whole bus aspect of it, right? Like
yeah,
nobody at that time got the opportunity to like travel in an RV, you
right,
know, to
yeah,
like be on a trip, like you're normally crammed in a van or in a car or whatever.
yeah.
You're not fucking spread out in couches and got your own bunks in the back and like can play video games on the trip and all sorts
So
of shit,
sick. Yeah,
and then like all the best riders in the world, everyone you look up to is on the trip.
yeah. Who do you remember from your first trip that like was your hero or one of your favorite riders, or like who did you bond with on like your
Oh,
first Road Fools 14?
I mean, Foster's always put me under his wing. The Falcons, he's always looked after me.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, because he used to come and do race clinics at my local track.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Yeah.
back in like when he raced for Schwinn.
This is crazy. Yeah.
I mean, this is like yeah. I remember him and Timmy Strelecki and Matt Polkamp and someone else. They all came and did like a clinic at my local track, and I mean, I already knew him at that time. I had already known Brian and Robbie from like meeting them at Grands and stuff like previous years before
Yeah.
that. So like, yeah, I mean,
You've just been in it since the day one,
dude,
you know? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so you fast forward to Road Fools 14. I've known Brian for 15 years at this point.
That's
So it's like,
wild. Yeah.
and not to say like we're fucking hanging out or besties or anything, but like I
You
don't
know
know.
each other. Yeah.
He's yeah, and he's like I don't know. He's always looked after me. Like he's someone that I've always um I don't know asked advice for and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the few people He's the fucking Falcon, dude. Like
Dr. Falcon.
dude's been in it forever. And I'm obviously I started out racing and went to freestyle just like he did,
Yeah.
and I've I don't know. He did it the way that I always wanted to,
Yeah.
and I don't know. always tried to follow in his footsteps a little bit, you know.
That's rad.
I'll be doing it fucking longer than him though, I know that much.
Hey.
I'm
You
not
hear
going
that?
to med
You
I'm
hear
not
that,
going to
Dr.
med
Foster?
I'm not going to med school next year, I know that much.
Do you have a plan for after BMX or fuck it?
Oh, don't fucking ask me that, man. Fucking
Next question, please. All right.
hopefully this is my goddamn plan right here.
Yes. Beautiful. I'm in for it. Burnslow's so sick.
No, man, really though, like I don't know, man. My plan is to fucking keep doing what I'm doing. Like I'm like I'm more motivated now than I've ever been, kinda, you
That's
know, like
amazing.
and especially moving forward with, you know, now being able to take advantage of this fucking amazing bowl that I'm gonna have at my house and just what's gonna come from that. I don't know. I don't know.
Keep it going, man.
I
Yeah.
don't see anything slowing down anytime soon on my side, you know? Like
That's dope.
I still feel like some of my best years are ahead of me, you
Why do
know?
you
And
think
I want to
like
I
that?
want to show and prove that.
Like how and why do you think like that? You know what I mean? Because that's not everybody. Not everybody has that like been in it for 20 plus years and still just as motivated, if not more motivated. Why do you think you're like that?
dude, cuz why I don't cuz why not? You know, almost I mean I've just let me think about this for a second. Like I mean,
That was a stoic good answer right there. Because why not?
yeah,
I like that.
I've just I've been doing this for so long now, and really I feel like I have certain aspects of it more figured out than I ever have, and now I can almost like really kind of hone in and like perfect certain shit, you know, like I almost hitting like my samurai years where now I'm like,
Sick.
you know,
Yeah.
like like I don't know, but then also get crazy ideas of like other things I can take this type of shit to and like other setups and I don't know. I'm just like
Like riding
constantly
wise, you mean,
thinking.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Because I saw you did some commercial for like a wireless cell phone company, and I was like, "That's fucking dope." See
Yeah.
visibility or something working. I think it was Daryl who made the video for it with you, and just like
Yeah.
taking
And it was sick.
BMX into other areas. You know,
Aaron, and Nina got to be a part of that too, which was
that's
cool.
yeah, that's great.
I mean, dude, it, it's a good time to take advantage of weird social media shit like that.
Yeah,
If it comes along, man, like why the fuck not? Really, you know?
which leads me
Um,
because in your Instagram you have a contact for. Is that your agent? Do you have an agent?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
it like to have an agent?
It's fucking great, man. Like I don't. It's cool to have someone else in your corner that's willing to go to bat for you. You know,
That's
and
super sick. Yeah.
in certain situations where you might not want to, or you have someone who's kind of more skilled than you are in these situations and has your kind of best interest in mind and can set emotion aside
Right.
and really figure out like what the best decision for you is, you know?
Business. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, it's a I mean and not only that, they can bring you this oddball social media shit that like normally wouldn't come to you personally, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But that type of stuff goes to these agencies and then gets trickled down to
Yeah.
you know? So it's
That's
like,
sick. And then let me tell you about my client. He's Chase Hawk. He has a day named after him in Austin, Texas. Like X
exactly.
Games gold medalist. You know, that's so sick, dude. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
it's
happy for you for that.
thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, and it's not even, I mean, I've only been with this guy for not even 3 years now. And really, it's taken me like my whole fucking career to have the opportunity to like work with a guy like this on
Yeah.
that level.
So in those 3 years, what's your favorite project that he's gotten you?
Dude, honestly, he's been a huge helper of me just pulling this whole ramp project together. You
Nice.
know, uh, I feel like a lot of it wouldn't have happened as easily if I didn't have him helping me with a lot of this fucking middleman shit, you
Yeah,
know?
so like
Like
fundraising, like are you gonna have like sponsors on the ramps and
all
stuff?
of
And
it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
so
And
it's
I
not
I
all out of
wouldn't
your pocket. You're building this ramp using like, outside money from people who want to have their names on the ramps and stuff like that. Like what goes into this shit? This fucking exciting. I like it.
I mean, to put it into perspective, I mean, I'm basically almost 2 years into the process, over 2 years into the thought and idea of all of this to where we are now, and we haven't even fucking started building one thing.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
that's a lot.
it literally, I mean, and the whole idea of it started with, okay, I think it's time to move. Okay, well, where are we going to move? Well, I want to move a little bit outside of town onto some land where I can do this. Okay, well, now we have to fucking sell our house. We have
Yeah.
to fix all that shit, and then we have to look for a new house that's far away with our 6-month-old baby in the middle of the pandemic, and do that
Yeah.
first, so that was like its own thing.
Yeah.
Then we fucking did it, got into our new house, and then I'm like, okay, well, now I gotta start getting money, right?
Yeah.
So you start reaching out to all your sponsors, seeing who wants to be a part of it, who doesn't, how much, all of that. That's a
That's a
big
lot.
process in
Yeah.
itself too. I mean, you're sending out sponsorship decks to everybody. You have to build those first. Every
Yeah.
one of them looks different for every company,
Yeah.
with requirements and incentives and
Yeah,
everything,
like what's in it for them? So suppose I Mediocre at Best is a huge BMX brand and I want to sponsor your backyard ramp. What do I get out of it, Chase?
Nowadays nobody wants to give you fucking nothing if they don't fucking give you anything. They're not getting something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to really fucking figure out the best way to package this stuff to make it make sense for everybody,
Right.
So that was its own thing,
Yeah.
and then kind of in this whole process as well, I'm working with the guy who's going to build the ramp and who is designing it.
Sick.
So he's coming to my house all the time. We've gone through 15 different designs, probably, of all sorts of shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Is it gonna be wood
Um,
or cement? Wood?
wood,
Yeah.
yeah, wood,
Cool.
wood and skate light,
Dope.
yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and then really, lastly, I mean, like once you kind of have all that shit sorted, now I got to get a permit.
Oh yeah.
Well, you don't have to, but on this level of project, and for how much I'm gonna use it, what I'm using it
It would suck to
for
get
the
shut down by the
fucking the
city.
neighborhood I live in,
Yeah.
every dude, like there's no way of I couldn't get it,
Right. Yeah.
And then not only that, but there was certain sponsors that are sponsoring the ramp that are like, we're not going to do this unless you do get the fucking permit, because
Yeah.
we're not going to have you have this thing up for 6 months and then have to get torn down or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a total possibility,
Yeah.
um
So where you at on
so
the permit situation? Did you get that?
so I'm fucking, the permit was filed in February.
Sounds about right. I'm real estate world and these dudes are fixing and flipping and
So,
they're like, we're fucked. It takes so long to get a permit.
and you think too, I mean, I'm so I'm in this weird little loophole, which is cool, where I'm 30 minutes outside the city. Technically, I live in another city, but I still have an Austin address, which is it's okay for certain reasons. But this one, instead of going through a smaller city like the one I live in, I have to go through the city of Austin,
Shit.
which they
Yeah.
are under constant fucking construction. You can
Right.
imagine the amount of permits that are being
Yeah.
filed for
'Cause
there.
everybody's moving there right now.
Yeah, and if you're not building a skyscraper, then your permit's just at the bottom of the fucking
Yeah,
barrel, you
for
know.
real.
So I'm literally, and it's so frustrating and shit at certain points, because you can go online and like check your status, because it's like a the 8-part process of approval to get the permit, and you'll see like it went like 3 or 4 steps like within the first couple weeks, and I was like, all right, like this is gonna happen quick, right?
Yeah.
And then it just fucking stopped. It just stopped, and it's literally been they've approved everything, and all that's left to do is to fucking stamp the thing and like approve the permit. And it's been at this step for almost a month now.
Hot damn. We got to get your
So,
agent to follow up.
dude, I mean, it's just one of those like, yeah, you just gotta sit here and take it type of situations,
Yeah.
And all I keep thinking about is like, it's not that it's not gonna happen. I just gotta fucking wait for it to happen. Like, it's the biggest Christmas present I've ever fucking had, that I just gotta sit there and wait to open.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
analogy. I've been sitting
yeah,
staring at this Christmas tree for 9 months now,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm just excited for that all to start. But yeah, I mean, I going back to how the agent helps me with all sorts of shit, but like uh sorting out this ramp project alone, I think would have felt even more daunting than it already does.
Big time, for sure.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's the biggest project I've ever tried to pull through in BMX.
Yeah. How did T1 do it? Did they get a
It's
permit and all that shit too? Do you know? Did you
no,
did you talk to them about that?
no, they didn't get a permit. They never had a permit. And I mean, T1 went in very slow stages too. It started out as a mini ramp with a vert wall and an extension.
Okay.
And then they bowled in the backside, and then they added the spine and the foot quarter, and then they started putting this other shit. I mean, it took 13 years for it to like get to what it
To that
that
legendary status,
final
yeah.
era of like what the ramp lived at. Like my ramp, I'm trying to fucking build this behemoth like right off the bat.
Sick.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and you got to think, I mean, like I'm in this cool neighborhood where like everybody's on bigger lots, right? But it's a lot of like older people that have lived up here for a long time, a lot of
We don't
retired,
want this ruckus. Is there
a
an
lot of
HOA?
no HOA, which
Oh,
is
nice. Okay.
like a huge,
Yeah.
like really, like once I have this permit, I'll be pretty fucking bulletproof.
Boom.
But at the same time, I'm not trying to be that guy who moves into the neighborhood and fucking
Yeah.
just pisses everybody off, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's some cool people up here. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just like I gotta do this the most efficient, correct way possible.
Right. Agreed.
And this is it. So it's
That's
like,
it.
but
So
yeah, I mean, I think, yeah.
you mentioned just, I mean, the city of Austin and everybody moving there. Like from somebody who lives there, did you notice it, the exodus from California and all over the place to people moving to Austin? Did you feel that at all? Is the traffic worse, etc.?
Oh, that, yeah. There's no denying feeling the growth from it. I'm not someone who was ever like pissed by it, like some. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was. I knew that it was always probably going to happen. You
Yeah.
know, uh, I mean, it's no surprise that Austin has had tons of cool events. Choosing to go there for a
Right.
long time. Like, I don't
South by
know. I think
Southwest, X Games, like it's the
just
spot.
ACL.
Yeah.
I mean, now the film industry is getting so big here. I mean, really, like, I think the thing that I probably noticed the most is just how much things have changed since Tesla said that they were going to move their
Oh
main
yeah.
offices there.
Yeah.
Because really, you kind of look at the track record, and it's like after they were like the first big fucking corporation to say like we're moving our headquarters here, and then it was Amazon, and then it was Netflix,
Oh
and
hot
now
damn! I
like
didn't even know about Amazon and Netflix moving there. That's crazy.
I mean, and it's like their biggest offices are going to be,
Yeah.
if not, they're in these surrounding areas of Austin, which is only going to like, I don't know, suburb out that
Right.
way. I mean, it's all going to be Austin by some point,
Yeah. What a
um
trip, dude. That's so crazy.
but you think, I mean, just the amount of people coming here just to work for those fucking companies is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Unreal.
Netflix just bought 500 acres in San Marcos, which is, if you've been to San Marcos and know how much is already there, and you think about them wiping through 500 acres of it, and
Yeah.
it's like it's like I don't know. There's just crazy shit like that happening here
Yeah.
now, right?
That's
It's
wild.
just like stuff that'll change everything around here, like forever moving forward.
It'll be like,
Type
I
of.
mean, I don't know if it'll ever be on par with like New York or LA, but it's the next best one, the next best big city.
Yeah,
Just
and they weren't ready for that growth. Like
I'm
we still
sure.
have a two-lane, three-lane highway that goes through the heart of the city.
Yeah.
It's like it's not made for it.
Yeah.
Like
At least you
like
get to
not
wait
even
till after rush hour to go to the skate park, you know?
well out now. Yeah, I mean like out where I'm at now, it's chill. Like
Yeah.
I don't gotta fucking deal with that really
Yeah.
anymore. And once the ramp's here, it's like yeah, I'll be
You ain't
chill.
got to worry about nothing.
Nah, dude. Sessions whenever.
What's your go-to skate park? Is it House Park or is there more? I don't know the Austin skate park world.
I I like House the most. Um, I gave it a good break, kind of like while we were in this whole move process. I think I literally didn't go there for like 10 months,
That's a
which
good
was
break.
which was good for me though, because I was getting really tired of it, right?
Right.
And just wasn't having fun or good sessions there anymore,
It
and I
gets
think
stale.
having that little break from it got me like stoked on it again, and
Hell yeah.
I can look at certain things differently again there,
It's
where
amazing how that works. You take a break from a spot and then all of a sudden you're seeing shit differently, which is pretty rad.
totally. And then I also had this like I have a there's a park like probably 5 minutes up the road from where I live now, but it's really weird and unique and small and fucking hard to ride and all of those things. Like, I mean, I would say like the majority of the park is like under 4 foot, and like none of it really works or makes sense.
Yeah.
And then at the top, there's just like this fucking kind of deadly, like 9 or 10 foot, like pool coping bowl that's like super steep,
Huh.
you know?
Yeah.
So like I was having, so basically when I moved out here, like I was having fun riding that just because of how different it was.
Right.
But I never really ride it for more than like 45 minutes or so, just because
Yeah.
it's so fucking jarring,
Yeah.
like,
What's your
but it's
favorite shit to ride? What's your favorite like obstacle? You like pools the most or just good skate parks or in the streets? Like if you could only ride one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
um I think nowadays, man, I think the stuff that I have the most fun riding is really just like these older skate park setups that I kind of grew up riding, you know? Um, and especially it's super cool to get back on wooden ramps, like whenever you have the opportunity,
Yeah.
like on this burn slope trip, we went to Rays,
So
and
sick.
I hadn't been to Rays in 15 years, or like and that's such a one of a kind place
Yeah, it makes you
that
feel like a little kid being inside Rays. It's like, oh my god.
exact like I hadn't had that much fun riding like in a long fucking time, just
Yeah,
because of how you're never given the opportunity to like be in a 250,000 square foot fucking skate park
yeah,
where like everything is linked together and shit,
so rad.
like I mean, a couple of times I remember I was like by myself, got like on multiple different pump tracks, and they just went into rooms with like the lights off, and like I was just still on a pump track. I literally got lost like multiple times in the park just because I was riding, like trying to keep going through
Hell
it.
yeah,
Like I was just like, this place is fucking nuts, right?
yeah.
Um.
I love
So
that.
I don't know, like just I mean, I love older, grippy, kind of simple parks, that just have real classic setups, good hips, good wall rides, good subs.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is a lot more fun to ride to me that I've put brakes back on, you know?
Why?
Um, I
Because
don't,
you can
it's,
slow down
I don't
and
know.
do
I just have
flippiness.
different ideas for all of it now,
True. Yeah.
like I feel like it's given me that weird opportunity to once again switch my shit up a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Keep
And
it fresh.
I'm just kind of like running with it until it gets old and then fucking see what happens next type of thing,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was no surprise that I was really stoked on manual shit before I put my brakes on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think putting them back on just made me realize like how many more possibilities there are, and I don't know, like everything just like made more sense after having them off for 10 years and then putting them back on. It's just
Nice.
like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like all this stuff I didn't used to be able to know how to do, like now
It's
I
coming back.
can. And then like you can take it to these other areas and whatnot, like all sorts of shit. Yeah.
I love that. Fucking A. Do you want to go back to Cleveland? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, so like,
I'll
do
go
you
back
have
to
a?
Cleveland, dude.
No, I
I
want
want
to
to go back to
know.
Cleveland.
Do you want to know? I want to know like your fondest memory of those road fools because you were on a couple of them, no? Couple road fools, or just the
I
one?
was on Road Fools 14 and 15, and then I was on a Rock and Roll Road Fools.
Yeah.
I think it was their second one that they did, the one with Lucero on it,
Sick. Yeah. That shit was cool.
which was the good one for sure.
Yeah.
That's the one. I mean, that was the era where you could put in any fucking BMX video and not have
Without Lucero.
five Lucero songs on it,
Yeah. Yep. I
And
remember.
I was a huge fan back then, and I was heavy in my party stages, so
Yeah.
like just being on a riding trip like that, but then also with a band that like I'm super into.
It's
Dude,
pretty
honestly,
crazy.
it was like a little bit of a tricky environment for me to be able to juggle, because there was a couple of those, because you do, the whole trip is really like, you know, centered around the demo kind of being during a show or something like that, And I
Right.
remember a couple of times, really one show that we went to the Flow, and Lucero, for whatever reason, Lucero played before we had to ride, and I was fucking hammered by the time we had to ride. And I remember I was like able to get a couple clips, but then I remember I was following, I think like Sexton and Dylan Smith, like through the box jumps, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a 3 tape, and I did it, and I was like folded up in it fine, but then just like front case super bad, and then like both hands blew off, like went to my armpits, ended up getting like a big goose egg on my head, and I was just like, okay, well, I need to figure out how I can juggle all of this,
Party and ride. What's your favorite? Like, I guess it doesn't have to be a favorite, but what's a party memory that comes to mind? I think we've all had our party days,
just in general, or a road pools
Yeah,
party memory.
just in general. When you were young, ratty, Chase Hawk.
God damn, dude. I don't know. It was too consistent and too much of a reoccurring thing to, I don't know.
That's how
There
it
was
ends
all
up
there
being,
was there
dude.
was all sorts of shit that happened, and if you throw in all of those years that I spent in Bethlehem, you
Yeah.
know, uh man, really only up until the last 5 years or so, have I like started to mitigate some of that lifestyle,
Yeah.
like I've had some fucking pretty gnarly years of partying for sure, you
I think
know?
we all should. Like, I think it gives you perspective of like what, because like, imagine just growing up an angel and you've never drank or partied or did anything. You'd always be wondering, of like, what's that like? At least you lived it and you know.
I'm a pretty firm believer of like I'm really happy I you know did a lot of it when I did. Not to say that I got it all out of my system, but it's like I know what my body's capable of at this point.
Yeah.
I know when I should and shouldn't do
Right.
most things,
Yeah.
you know. Whereas just back in the day, dude, it was no fucking filter, and it was like anything goes, and
Yeah.
it was just the norm. And
Which makes for
we
really good
we were,
content to watch on Road Pools. You just being ratty. It was so fun.
yeah, I mean, and then I was young back then too.
Yeah.
My body still allowed for it. I was like,
Yeah.
I was capable of, drinking for 7, 8 hours and waking up the next day and fucking doing it all over
That's
again.
amazing. Yeah.
Like I
I miss
can't,
those days. I
I
can't do
can't do
that.
that now.
No
I can't
shot.
do that now. Like I mean, I know, you know, I know if I've had too much, like the next probably couple days are
Oh yeah.
written off.
Yeah, for
Like
real. I know exactly what you're talking about,
yeah, yeah,
dude.
yeah. So it's like I'm better at picking and choosing my battles.
Yeah, what's it like lately? I mean, especially with a kid too, you gotta keep it together. There's not much partying going on, but like, do you
Bro, I've
still
had it.
enjoy a glass of wine or whatever, beer at night?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and dude, like I've had a couple pretty bad hangovers in his life,
Mm-hmm.
and just and
Just
as
like,
a
hey kiddo, let me change your
no,
diaper real quick.
there's no remorse in any of that shit, and you just gotta fucking sit there and take it. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've totally been like having to take care of him and fucking going and throwing up and coming back and shit, dude. All sorts. Yeah, like it'll make you not want to do it again. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
for
Like,
real.
yeah,
What's your like social life like? Do you and your wife go out with like Daryl and his wife, or Aaron and
yeah,
all them? Do you guys
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
what's it like, just like a like non BMX hanging out with the boys type situation? When's the
Man,
last time you
it's
guys got together?
let's see the our last little get together. Aaron has been working. They him and his wife are opening up an Airbnb in
Yeah, they've been
Fredericksburg.
working. Is that the shit that I've been seeing him working on his story? Like, they're all
Yeah.
putting in the work, fire pit,
Well,
the whole nine. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, they're doing this at two different houses right now. So he's doing it that the one in Fredericksburg, and then he's got another one in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Good for Aaron, dude. That's so sick.
Um, yeah. So the I think the Fredericksburg one is open now. So we all went out there and like stayed for the weekend and
Perfect.
hung out like once the house got finished and before they opened it up
Yeah, you got
like
to
to
test out the
everybody.
Airbnb experience, you
And
know?
we broke it in good.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's sick.
I tried to break as much shit as possible. He built that place like a fort.
Is he telling you to test it? All right, Chase, see if you could
Yeah.
break this. That's funny.
I'm just happy I was the first person to get to smoke weed on it.
Yes, boom. That should be written on the wall.
Yeah, yeah. He knows.
What do I
No,
got
yeah,
here?
yeah, but I mean, other than that, like I don't know, dude, with the baby, like, the nights out they kind of have to be at a certain time,
Yep.
or it really can't happen.
Yeah.
Um, but we make it happen. It's
Yeah.
a lot of There's a lot of just straight family time out here though with me,
That's dope.
like Yeah.
Good for you.
Um,
You guys sit at like the, because I have really good family memories of like every night sitting at the dinner table and
oh
just
yeah.
having a family dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wholesome
We're
shit, man. That's
all
great.
the, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all of that.
All of
And
that.
it's cool. It's cool too because um kind of part of, I didn't really mention this earlier, but part of us deciding to do this move um was to see if we wanted to bring Lauren's parents in on it as well. So we
Okay.
could kind of have kind of grandparents on site to help out when needed and
Nice.
whatnot.
So you got a, what's it
So
called? Grandma's suite on the other side of the crib or something?
exactly, it just got finished. Yeah,
Nice,
so
dude.
like they converted like a 4-car garage space into like a full casita. So it's like
Sick.
connected to our house. So
Yeah.
it's they've got like they built out like 1,000 square foot apartment with like a kitchen and shower and toilet. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
like it's full living space.
How do you
Um
fund that? Like, did you sell your old house and then you had enough like equity or whatever to like to make that happen? Is
yeah,
that
and then
yeah?
they did the same thing. So they sold at the same time we did, and we just doubled down and just went in on it together.
That's
And
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't it makes a lot of sense uh if that's kind of the end goal that you're trying to pull off. I don't
Yeah.
know, it really helps with the baby, when we need it. And then it
Yeah.
also gives him the opportunity to like be with his grandparents every
Yeah,
day,
dude. That's
which
so
is
awesome.
fucking cool.
It's
Like,
very cool. Yeah.
and it's, dude, it's just, I don't, it's easier to pay bills when you got 4 people and not two.
Yeah.
It's just like
Facts.
it just makes all, I don't know, like
Yeah.
um
I think
you
there's a
can,
lot of that going on. Like families are coming back together. For like the generation before us, it was like get out, go live on your own. But now I feel like everybody's kind of doing what you're doing and bringing the grandparents in. That's a good dream.
well, I mean, fuck, dude, if we would have done it by ourselves, we wouldn't be living where we are.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that extra assistance of somebody who's like willing to fucking double down with you,
Yeah.
like you can actually really get into the space that you
And
dream
they're
of,
probably
you
so
know?
stoked too. They get to be with
Dude,
their
totally.
2 year
And
old grandson. That's amazing.
they're retired, so like they're not really they're not nailed down to anything in particular anyways. So it's like
Yeah.
they were up for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it was cool.
That is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. I'm happy that, like, yeah, really once the ramp's here, it's like, I don't know,
Dream
we'll really,
life.
it's, yeah, I mean, these next years ahead of me, like, I don't know. I'm really looking
The
forward to
best
it.
ones.
Yeah,
So
dude. Yeah.
one of the things when I was looking you up a little bit this morning was you talking about the born and raised contest, and you definitely did a couple, and I haven't been paying attention the past couple of years. Is that still going? Does it happen on Chase Hawk Day, and is it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right? The
Totally.
born,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I know what you're
Is
talking
that
about
still
for sure.
popping?
I mean, it is for sure. Really, I mean, I guess I'll go back to, kind of how it all started. But
Yeah.
basically, I was given that inaugural day in Austin, and really from there, I was, really trying to think of the best move to do something with having that day, right? I
Right.
don't know, I didn't want it to just be that. I mean, I envisioned it to hopefully, have that event turn into, some type of like festival that would live on that day, that would be like a fun event that everybody could come to. And I don't know, just everybody take advantage of it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like, what way can I take this opportunity of having this day and fucking give back the most from it?
Yeah.
I guess, like,
Yep.
has always been my idea behind it, right?
Yeah.
But really, dude, year after year, it always comes down to funding and who wants to be a part of it, and really just who's kind of willing to step up to the plate, because it's fucking tough. It takes a lot to put these events on,
Yeah.
especially on the level that you envision it. And like plain and simple, if you don't have that extra assistance or help,
It
then
gonna happen.
it's harder to pull off and facilitate,
Yeah.
and there's years where everyone's on board and we get to do multiple, and there's years where like everybody's, I don't know, dude, money shit's changing for companies
Yeah, big time.
every year, right?
Yeah.
And some years people have X amount to throw at something like this, and some years they don't.
Yep.
And I feel like hosting and doing these events is really kind of centers around a lot of that,
Yeah.
because if it was up to me, I mean, I would obviously be doing as many as I could in as many places as I could.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, you were talking about having Chad and Dennis do theirs in San Diego, and there's one question I had because you mentioned I think it was on the local TV spot, but you said one of the winners of the Born and Raised contest is now getting hooked up or something, and this is like 2016, and I was like, who the fuck won? Is it somebody I know? Like, who? You mentioned, do you remember it? Probably not, but
totally, no, I do. It was I think winner of the event ended up getting like a 12-month flow sponsor.
Yeah, with
flow sponsorship through Etnies.
Etnies, yeah. Who was it?
Eli Kravitz.
Sick. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That dude is so good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Eli's, he's,
and that's fucking 6 or 7 years ago, so he was a young buck, dude. That's awesome.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, let's see, like the very first event that I ever did, Little Juice won.
Nice.
And that literally, like that event literally kind of put him on the map a little bit. Like Robbie sent him a frame after that.
Yeah.
And really that was like, I don't know, you go back to looking at stuff that he's done, like,
dude, he's been
that's where everything started for him, was like him showing up at that event, winning it, which is cool. Like I feel like there's certain riders that have blown up a little bit bigger just by being at my event, and that's like always been my goal, like
it's huge,
by hosting it, right?
You make me really want to do some shit like that here, man. Like it's inspiring, Well, I think every city should be doing shit like that to put on the AMs, because there's tons of pro contests, but not enough to show off. Like, because me personally, I know there's 20 kids here that nobody really knows about that are all out killing themselves on the bike, like consistently, and deserve some shine time,
I think now more than ever is more important to be doing as many events as possible.
Yeah.
With the amount of professional level events that have just gone away, to all of it, really, like,
right.
I feel like you're saying, it's definitely something that more local riders should be trying to take advantage of, is, or really, other professionals, is like kind of using their name and platform to put on their own events that are similar to mine.
There's such a hunger for in-person shit now, because everything's just through your phone, and it's just not the same.
Yeah. Oh,
it's wild.
It is.
So I'm happy for you on that. Let me switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that moving forward, I'm able to figure out some type of way that I can do it more consistently and turn into like a very sustainable thing the way that I envision it, and I can hopefully do 3 or 4 a year in different areas. And
I can picture you getting like, because Austin's a hip ass city. Like there's companies that'll be down to like, that don't even have anything to do with BMX. Like, I don't know about Juice Land or whatever, but some of the, maybe some bars, or what's that whiskey that's based out of Austin? It's like, is peanut butter whiskey from Austin? Is that?
Probably.
Yeah, there's so much
That
cool
sounds.
shit that you could bring in, get a little bit of money from them,
Yeah.
and put on
Yeah.
events. Are you
Yeah.
gonna
For sure.
have a flat rail in your backyard and a flat ledge?
Dude, so I mean, you can imagine the amount of time that I've been sitting there looking at my design I have, just waiting for this permit process,
Yeah,
and just like, oh, should I change this, or should this, I don't, I'm like questioning myself with all sorts of shit. So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I've thought about redesigning the whole fucking ramp multiple times,
Just
So
real quick, what do you use to design a ramp? Is it like a CAD drawing? What software type shit do you know, or is it with just like a homie that knows?
I use another person that knows how to fucking do it.
Okay, yeah.
And then
Smart.
I'm sitting there being like, all right, I want this, man. Like, where can we, how far does it have to be away from this? And how tall can I put it? Or, dude,
And he's out there using math. Like, "And here's algebraically why we can't do this type shit. But I want it to be smooth right here."
yeah.
That's what you're saying.
He probably fucking hates me at this point. He's 2 years into like a nowhere job that hasn't even started. And I'm just like, and now I want to
Just
probably
keep hitting them
redesign the
with
whole ramp.
revisions. Yeah. And by the way, I
Yeah.
want it to be a street park. Actually, never mind. I just want
Yeah.
banks and sub boxes and
I'm
rails and shit.
I'm
Anyway.
just gonna keep fucking with his head. Yeah. I'll finally get the permit and then tell him that the whole job's off.
It's fucking over, man. Thanks for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank
Have,
you. Sorry for all your
have a
waste
good
of
day.
time, but
Let's talk about what you're wearing right now. We got Rockstar. I want to know what the origins of getting on Rockstar for Mr. Chase Hawk. How did that happen? Like, cause that's one of those dreams that a bunch of kids have, getting the energy drink hookup. Is
yeah,
how did it
yeah.
happen for you?
It happened, man. I've been on Rockstar for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I mean, I got put on at an X Games back in the day in LA. I just can't really remember what year, but it was, I want to say it might have been like 2009, 2008 or 9.
Hot damn. Yeah. Over a
Um,
decade.
yeah,
Fuck, coming up on
yeah,
15 years. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that's like, you know, that's kind of been a pretty common, consistent way for people to get put on Rockstar or other energy drinks. A lot of people
Just
get
being at
put,
the X Games.
a lot of people get put on at X Games. A lot of like, yeah, I mean, for that reason,
Yeah.
and especially back then, just because of how much bigger X Games was back then.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they would even do shit like sponsor people. People would get 3-day contracts back then, and they would
Huh.
only sponsor them just because they knew they were going to be on the podium.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um,
So did some dude approach you, or like is it a connection through somebody you already knew? Like did you just finish your run and then somebody came over and he was like, "Here's a beanie." Rockstar.
yeah,
How actually
you're
did
with
it
us
happen?
now, kid.
Yeah.
No, at that time, Keith Penter was the team manager, and dude, same deal. I mean, I'd known Heath previously to that for a long time.
Legendary
Um,
guy.
yeah. Um, and he was the team manager. I mean, honestly, he was the team manager only up until like, uh, like right before pandemic. So he was a part of the program for almost the whole time that I've been a part of it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I got put on through him, and I mean, still here. I mean, I'm definitely fucking very fortunate to have been able to spend the amount of time with a company like
Yeah,
that
for real.
that I've been able to. Um,
I've never
yeah,
really talked about anybody with this, but like the contracts with energy drinks have got to be a little bit more serious than all the other contracts in BMX. Am I right? Like
they're the thicker ones. They're the
yeah.
ones. Yeah, front and back pages, fucking all that shit. Yeah. I mean,
what are
they're
some
the
things
one.
in it that like you were like, what?
They're the ones that I mean, I definitely have other people read through those ones, you
Nice.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but there's, if anything, there's just more fucking bureaucratic talk of weird legal shit
Yeah.
that you can basically never try and fuck them for.
Yeah.
That's like the majority of the wording in the contract is
Yeah.
like
That's corporate lawyer speak. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the whole contract could say, we have you by the balls and you can't do much, and here's how much you're getting, and
Nice.
here's yeah, here's how long you're going to be getting it.
If you make any media appearances,
until we decide if you're going to get it again.
Yeah. So like you rocking this beanie right now, is that part of the contract? Any media appearances you have to be rocking it at all times or what?
I think if any other Rockstar rider was on this podcast not wearing a fucking Rockstar beanie, they'd be a goddamn idiot. Yeah. So I'm just up here doing my job. That's it, man.
Hey, you're doing good, man.
Dude, I mean, I make sure this thing's fucking glued to my head anywhere I'm near something doing BMX related, and that's because that's what I'm supposed to do. So
yeah, that's a pro sponsored rider right there.
Fuck yeah, man.
Then we got Burn Slow. Let's talk about that. I've never met Adam. I've only talked to him on Instagram. What's he? You like? I saw that you guys are close friends. Like how'd you guys meet? What's he like?
Dude, I mean, I was staying at Adam's parents' house when we were young teenagers. So
damn, you guys grew up together, yeah?
Yeah, literally, yeah. I mean, we've known each other for a long time because I mean, he used to, he was a rider back in the day, so like, and we're close in age too. So it's like, back then if there was some kid that rode that was close in your age, y'all were friends,
right,
because almost everybody in Austin that time was fucking 10 years older than me, everybody that rode. So it's like, I always tried to kick it with the kids that were my age for sure, so like Adam and Devin were a part of that, so yeah, I mean, I've known Adam for a good portion of my life. Him and Devin they grew up in the same neighborhood and went to the same schools and whatnot. So really, like, the three of us, have kind of all known each other since around that same age,
Yeah.
You there?
I'm here.
What's good? What you think?
What's good? I got half an hour. I got half hour. Yeah.
How long into it are we?
About an hour 20.
Half hour should be good then, right?
Yeah, agreed. For real. I don't.
Nobody needs to listen to hear me talk for more than 2 hours.
Well,
if you're trying to hear me talk for more than 2 hours, you need to fucking do something better with your day.
That's how I feel about every episode. I'm like, why are people listening to this shit? Do you listen to BMX podcasts? Because I don't. I listen to other shit.
I'm glad you asked that because, like, no, I like, and like, and like not even podcasts really in general, like anybody or any of it. Like, I don't know. It's like most of the time, I guess the only time I would be listening to them really would be in the car. Yeah. And I prefer to listen to music mostly, unless I'm like on like a road trip type of,
like
then
a long ass drive. Yeah, it kills time pretty well.
Then we can listen to some podcasts, but that's like kind of pretty few and far between for me, so it's like maybe once or twice a year, like I'll make it to a podcast,
nice. Yeah.
And sometimes there's BMX ones where, like, I don't know, sometimes there'll be specific people that I want to like hear from and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, because there's so many dope riders that you only see their clips. You don't really see them talk,
It's really like, I mean, for all those reasons is one of the main reasons why I've kind of chosen not to do them a whole lot myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I
I
mean,
couldn't find you on a podcast anywhere.
I haven't done much, man.
Yeah. You've
So
done a couple little interviews about like video parts and shit, but
yeah,
not much talking from young Chase Hawk.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like one of those things that it's been that way for a long time, and it's weird how when it's that way, it just kind of continues to be that way,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
really
fuck it.
not for any particular reason, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Dude,
Having fun. I'm
I'm
having fun doing this. So
me too, man. This is like because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I never sit and talk to one person one on one for this long ever. Like
yeah,
because you're on a session and it's always just goofing around. It's never really like asking questions and getting to know the person a little bit.
dude, totally. And I don't even really. I'm headphones guy at the skate park. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I I don't know. I might talk to you for 5-10 minutes in a 2-hour session.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like to just like keep moving, and then like at the end we'll say what's up and chill for a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
exactly
I'm
how
kind
it
of
is.
I'm
Same.
kind of annoying with that stuff. Like people talk shit to me for doing it so much a little bit. I'm like, I don't know. It's the way it works for me. Like,
Fuck them.
yeah, fuck 'em.
I want to know your favorite project that you've worked on, like of you writing, and then who is your favorite filmer of all time that you've worked with?
Oh wow.
Like what video part are you most proud of?
Yeah, I mean, really off the top of my head, and the one that I kind of circle back to the most. I mean, like obviously there's a lot of my parts that I'm very proud of and I've worked hard for, and some parts I even like more than this other one I'm about to bring up. But I feel like I I worked the hardest and took it the most serious on filming for that last Etnies video.
Yeah,
Just
and it was obvious
because
too. Yeah,
I mean I you know I grew up with Grounded and Forward.
yeah,
I knew that this project was gonna follow in those footsteps of just living as these like all-time epic BMX videos that you could put on fucking 30 years from now and
timeless.
people will still love. It's
It
like,
was Manzori, right?
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
in the
which
bowls skating with you and shit. So sick.
which at that time, like that was the first time I had ever gotten to work with him.
Yeah,
Like I got on Etnies and got to film my welcome video with him. But then really the video trips started pretty quick after that. And then we filmed for over 3 years for it.
yeah,
So
substantial.
I mean, my timeline of footage at the end of at the end of those 3 years was almost an hour, or
Sheesh.
maybe longer.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy, dude. That's a full
Yeah,
DVD of just you.
yeah.
Has
I
there
mean,
is there shit that's hit the internet, or is it still just on the cutting room floor? Is anybody ever gonna see the? Is there extras? Like, has all
there's
of it been
tons.
online?
I think no,
Yeah,
no, not all of it.
there's
No.
secret footage.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, and it's because that a lot of stuff started to get dismantled kind of after that video came out, really, right? Like, I don't know. Uh like one of the main things that was supposed to happen was Will Stroud was supposed to stay on retainer for that entire next year to only be in charge of putting out that B-roll footage.
Huh.
And that was like they canceled that January 1st. Like people left. Dude, it's amazing how much a lot of things will get fucked up if two of the correct people are taken out of the equation.
Yeah.
you know um you take a couple backbones out of a sturdy situation and the shit starts to crumble quick.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that they had a lot of intention of rolling out a lot of different things differently after that whole project was released,
Yeah.
and just like never really was given the correct opportunity. you
Yeah,
know.
what's the operation of Etnies bike? Because it's Etnies bike on Instagram. What's the Etnies BMX operation look like? Who's the team manager? Like, who's your favorite other Etnies rider? I, I'm curious. Like, how does that work for Etnies?
I mean, Etnies current US team is Dugan, Nathan, and Devin, and me.
Hogs.
And I mean, yeah, there's not one of those people that I don't look up to and,
Yeah.
get insane inspiration from,
Yep.
so they're all those guys are my favorites,
Yep.
and not to mention an insane UK stack team too,
Yeah, for
so
real.
it's like Ennies has always had a lot of, my favorite riders on their side,
And they've been in BMX like consistently longer than any other shoe company for sure. Right?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
They're the OGs.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's kind of what I grew up wearing too, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
That's
mean
dope.
it's so definitely, I mean, I knew how much of an opportunity it was to get to film a part in a video like that
Yeah.
with a group of riders like that, and I just knew that I wanted to I knew I didn't want the project to end and me to feel like I could have done something more. Like I felt
You
like
left it all on on the
I put
court,
so
dude.
much
Yeah.
into, yeah, I mean, and down to like, I mean, I went on a lot of went on multiple like 8 to 10 day trips with just me and Mike alone.
Sick.
Like which was something that like nobody else on the team did or wanted to do, but it was something that like I felt like was a way that I could take advantage of this in this situation,
Yeah, for real.
I don't know.
And
I knew I wanted to have a lot to choose from at the end. That way, what went in was for sure supposed to be there.
yeah,
It's like, and
that's
I
got to
think
feel good.
we did that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like I mean, I always go back watching that part, like knowing I worked the hardest for it.
Yeah.
And
That's got to feel
ton
good.
tons of Europe trips, man. I mean, we did a 35-day Europe trip filming for
Sheesh.
that video. I mean,
Dude,
that's
I was
one
just on the
of
road for 10 days. It felt like 35 days. 35 days must feel like a year.
the
That's a long trip.
and we did Battle of Hastings in the beginning of it.
Wow. Yeah,
So
cool.
we fucking started, we did a filming trip. Well, we were there for a week, then you do Battle of Hastings. And
Yeah.
really, like you feel like you're gonna die after that.
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
and then from there, you still got Spain and Portugal for fucking 3 weeks or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think our only off day that entire trip was the day we flew from England to Spain. And fucking get this shit, the night before we are supposed to leave for that flight, I got bed bugs
Oh,
in this shitty English hotel that we were staying at right next to the airport, like right before we were supposed to fly out. It's literally like the
fuck.
only time that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I woke up with all these little fucking bites all over me. I was so pissed off, dude. I remember I was like, because it's after I'm like already pretty fucking shot at that moment too. So
Yeah.
like it was a little bit of a like straw that broke the camel's back situation. I was
Yeah.
fucking raising a fit in that lobby, dude. Like there were people checking in. I was just like, you don't want to fucking be in this filth hole. Like this place is covered in bugs. I had my shirt off. It was like, look at all these bug bites all over me. Like,
Fuck this place.
oh, I was so pissed off, dude.
Epic.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite filmer? Maybe not who you've worked with, but actually, yeah, either. I'm sure you've filmed with pretty much all the good filmers at this point. But who do you think is the best BMX filmer?
Um, that's a good question. And really, I don't know if I should say this because I've never even worked with the fucking guy. But I feel like Gregson kind of owns
Gregson. Yeah. Oh yeah.
transition with
Yeah.
a camera.
Yeah.
If you're
Unbelievable.
trying to get in a bowl with anybody with a camera that's gonna have the intention of following you,
pretty epic,
I
dude.
can't think of one other person that you'd rather
Yeah,
trust, you know.
I
And
agree.
I've never even worked with the guy. Like
Yeah,
I hope I get the opportunity to. Um,
it's fucking magical, dude. Like
and then
that.
yeah, I mean, like previously it was Mike, you know, like Mike could
Yeah,
do that, but I think like Chris is obviously the younger generation version of
yeah.
that whole thing. I mean, like,
He's on you. It's so
dude,
sick, dude. And just
I mean,
choreographing that shit where like you timing it and it takes a little bit of practice, but then once you get the perfect clip, it's just beautiful, you know?
for me, sometimes watching the way he's filming someone and how he's doing it is cooler than whatever the fucking person
That's what
he's
I'm saying,
filming
dude. Yeah.
is doing,
Yeah, for
you
real.
know?
You
And
could
then
just
you
be
watch,
airing out a quarter and it's so cool to watch, you know?
yeah, and then you watch all of it, and then you watch how it translates through to his camera. You're just like, motherfucker, like,
Yeah. How are you
I
so
mean,
good at
this
this?
seems fake. Like,
Yeah, it does seem fake. It's
dude,
unreal.
it's yeah, so
That's a
fuck man.
damn good answer. You're good.
I hope that we get to fucking make some magic at some point, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, dude. Working with Vish for the last 10 years has been great. You know, like
Love Vish.
we've
Yeah.
made some amazing cult projects together. You
Yep.
know, and he's always someone that I really enjoy collaborating with, and we always bounce good ideas off each other and
Yeah. He's smart and creative and
all
super
of those
nice, dude.
things.
I love
Yeah,
Vish.
yeah. I mean, I like being a part of that process as much as possible as well. You
Yeah.
know, like you invest so much time and effort in on the filming side of things that you just want to make sure that it's translated correctly on the other end, you
Right.
know? So like, I don't know. I always like it when a filmer editor is like open to having that communication between me and him, you know, at
Right.
least for suggestions and music. You know, music's really fucking important to me when
Yep.
it comes down to like something that's going to live in my part, you know, like I don't know.
I had a feeling music's pretty important to you. Who's your like? And I know you like the Sword. Give me like if you had to just pick one band off the
It
top of your head. Doesn't have to be your
oh
favorite or
fuck.
whatever. Just name something you like.
Um I've been listening to Converge a fuckload lately.
Converge. I don't even
Yeah.
never even heard of them.
But dude,
CON.
yeah, Converge.
Cool.
Um
I'll check them out.
I mean it's kind of where East Coast hardcore originated. You
All
know,
right. Sick.
everything kind of stemmed from Converge. You know, like they're one of the best to ever do it. You know,
Dope.
so but honestly, I mean, you can go through my kind of riding playlist and it'll bounce through all sorts of shit. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, from heavy stuff to chill stuff to classic 50s soul music to reggae to hip hop. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm you know, I listen to all sorts of shit basically, you
Yeah.
know. Um but I would say generally when I'm listening to music the most is either when I'm riding or like on my way to riding. So
Yeah.
it's like the vibe of all of it is usually centered around to like, I don't know, getting me stoked to do something, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
stuff that I can like, I don't know. Sometimes it's singing along to it. Sometimes it's fucking banging my head to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just sitting there and zoning out to it. You know, it's
I
like
feel you. I listen
you
to it
have
either
to,
to get pumped to ride or to edit. Like if I'm about to work on
yeah.
a project, I gotta listen. Like I listen to music in terms of like editing to it. That's always how it's been. So it's interesting how we all kind of use music differently, you know?
Dude, it's I mean, like, and sometimes, yeah, like sometimes I'll be in situations where like music will come, like I'll be driving with my kid, and it's like I can't be listening to this right now. I'll just want to fucking haul ass or something. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
so you gotta like control these situations a little bit,
Yeah.
like, but
Just listening to hardcore metal going really
literally,
fast
yeah,
with your
like,
kid in the
yeah,
back.
because that's exactly that's like just my reaction. That's what the fuck I do. Yeah.
All right, future projects. We got this Burn Slow video coming out next week. Anything else that you got on the plate? We talked about your ramp and this Burn Slow video. Anything else?
Um, we have a cult trip that I think that we're gonna do next month. Probably go back to Florida, hang out with Trey.
Sick.
Probably get Dakota and D Heart down there. Like classic little
Classic
homie
cult.
group,
Yeah.
and like
That's
yeah,
the OG cult team right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So those trips are always fun. I mean, Florida's got like a bunch of fun stuff to ride in a pretty short little area. So
Yeah.
like you can stay pretty centralized around Orlando and have
Yep.
a good time. It's just like it's kind of an easy stress-free trip to go on. I'm looking forward to it, especially
That's
with
what's
that
up.
crew. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun,
And as the weather's breaking and it'll be just perfect weather in Florida.
Yeah. But other than that, man, like we've got a lot of burn slow stuff in the works, which I'm super stoked on.
Me
Um,
too, man. I'm not even involved, but I love Burn Slow.
yeah, it's
It's
just
so good.
it's cool being able to really just have the ability to be in control of what you want to do and where you want to do it and who you want to do it with and
Yeah.
all of those things. It's just
Yep.
like I think, me personally, I've been so used to kind of being told what's going to happen forever,
Right.
like this trip's going to happen and you're going to go here at this time and this contest is and Burnslow gives us the opportunity to like be on the other side of that and be like, well, where do we want to go? And
Yeah, for real.
who do we want to go with?
It's
And
what you make it.
when's the best time to go? And what do we want to ride and do while we're there?
Yes.
How fucking much do we want to like slum it or like live lavish? I don't know. Like we're just like we're in control of all that shit, and it makes the whole process that much more intriguing,
Yeah, for
and
real.
and not only that, but like I don't know. I think we're all just that much more motivated to grow it the way that we envision it.
Yeah. So
So
that brings me to because like Burn Slow, it's Austin, but also worldwide. Who's give me give me some names in Austin, Texas that I might not know about that I should know about. Some younger kids coming up.
oh man, got a lot of younger kids that are killing it here right now, which is really cool. Stone Kepler, Talon Pemberton, um, Grayson Braun, just this really cool group of younger 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that just fucking get it,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like
That is very cool.
you can kick it with them at the park and it's not fucking annoying. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that situation can be,
Yep.
know.
Yep. Oh
I
my
think
god, hi Chase Hog.
who the fuck is that? What the fuck was that? Did I envision?
That was me. I was just pretending to be a kid
Oh,
at
I
the
was
skate
like,
park. Oh my god, hi
jeez.
Chase Hog.
I was like, holy shit. That really sounded okay. My bad. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all, man. That ain't weird. That sounded like someone else.
It did. I'm good at voices, you know? All right, last thing. What's the scariest trick you've ever done? The shit that you like, had to really work yourself up to do in your whole career. What's the scariest trick or clip or anything?
This question was kind of this was brought up recently, and me and Robbie were talking about it. But the one clip that sticks out in my mind, where I kind of go back and look at it and think about, and it's like definitely one of those like I would never fucking think about doing that now, nor like I don't know how I got myself to do it then type of thing.
Okay.
Because it was way out of my comfort barrier and like not even really some shit that I did really back then.
Yeah.
But it was my ender. I think it's in the Fit Life video,
Okay.
but it's in the that famous whatever that LA ditch canal, right?
Yeah.
Like the one that goes on forever and there's all different spots on it.
Yeah.
But this one was like a huge fence hop out of it. But it
Okay.
was like over. I mean, you could probably go back and pull the clip and
Yeah.
show it
I'll pull
and
the clip for
whatnot.
sure.
Um, but it was like, you had to roll down one side of that big fucking bank, then
Yes.
hop across.
The center river thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was like at the time it was like a skate, like someone had like DIY'd a lip on it, so it was like a skate gap.
Yeah.
It was a shorter one, so you had to haul ass hop across that, and then like maxing out your speed while kind of turning at the same time to then go up the other side of that big fucking bank and then clear the bike path and jump over this like 10-foot fence.
Hot
But
damn. Yeah.
the fence had those big death spikes on it. Like
Shit. Yeah.
like the 8-inch ones.
Yeah.
Like I could have been crucifixed up on that motherfucker. like literally some shit where like if one thing goes wrong and you're fucking dying on this thing,
Yeah.
and like those aren't situations I've put myself in that much.
Smart.
Nor thinking back on it, like why the fuck I even chose to do it then.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what made me think that I could do it. Like,
when
and
the
I
moment's
think
the moment, man. You're around the boys filming for a video.
I think it was, dude. I think Robbie suggested it, and I think at the time I was just like had this little chip on my shoulder that was like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'll do it," like type of thing.
Yeah.
And then luckily I was able to fucking do it because, dude, yeah, I mean, like that's one of those ones where, like, I mean, I wouldn't fucking do that one again. You couldn't tow me in with a motorcycle straight where I knew I was gonna fucking clear that thing. Like that's just some shit I wouldn't do anymore.
Yeah.
Because then on the other end of that, it's like, I don't know, on a technical point, just stuff that took me a long time to do.
Yeah.
That was more like a fucking do or die.
One and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Some riders prefer the one and done. Like, let's just get this over with. All I got to do is bunny hop and grind down this thing, or clear the gap, and then it's either I do or die. And then there's other riders who like the tech, like, oh, this is gonna take me 3 hours to pull, but I know I can do it, type shit.
I've always figured out a way to make that process as miserable as possible for me. Most of my enders take 10 trips of hundreds of tries. I mean,
that's how they're worth it, man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
dude. It's like, yeah, like
you're not alone. Everybody does that.
Like that one kink grill that I did into the street in the cult video. That was like 3 or 4 different trips at like, a few hour trips at a time. I think
it was so cool to see.
I think I got one time I made it to the end and fell over, and I think I just picked my bike up and literally just folded both tubes like over the rail, like fucking just broke my frame like on the rail, and then I was like, oh well, fuck. Now I need a bike. Like,
let's go get a new bike and come back.
Yeah, fuck. I've done some dumb shit like that.
Well, I think we all have, man. All right, last thing. Just advice for the kiddos. Maybe not Stone in particular, but kids his age who want to be the next Chase Hawk. I mean, that's a weird phrase to say, but you know what I'm saying. Like, to make BMX your life. What's the advice to the young guns out there?
It's the general thing that you'll probably hear from a lot of people, man. And it's don't go searching for it so much. It'll find you. And if you deserve it, especially, just know that it'll come your way eventually.
Facts.
I feel like now more than ever, obsessing over those aspects of BMX, you know, can ultimately deter you from it,
Yeah.
and um, just have fun, man. And if you're enjoying riding, that comes across and people notice that. And sadly, it goes a long way these days. It's like, I mean, if you genuinely love this shit and you live for it, you can see it,
Yeah.
and I think that alone goes a long way, because yeah, it's just the beginning for a lot of these people,
Yeah, for real.
and they need to remember that too,
Yeah.
and they need to also know that, there's a process in all of this, and there's really no shortcutting any of it, nor do you want to, because that's where most of the cool shit happens.
Yeah, it's
And
the journey,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and that's with almost everything you're pursuing,
Yeah. Remember the good
So,
parts as they're happening and just know, like, because you never know you know what I'm saying? Like the good old days, you don't know you're in them until they're over. So just try and take a moment and be like,
dude, totally,
while
man.
you're sleeping on your homie's floor, like these are the good old days.
Yeah.
It's
Take it,
magic.
take advantage of being able to do something you love with your friends.
Yeah.
That's
Facts.
that's something that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
People
About
can
to
get
make me fucking
jaded. People can get like, oh, I'm getting overlooked. All this shit. It's just like, just enjoy it, man. Just
yeah,
enjoy it.
dude, for real.
It'll come.
Yeah.
All right. So, shit. That's it, Chase. I got to go. This
Dude,
was a pleasure.
thank you so much, Bobby, for real, man.
Yeah.
This was dope.
Fuck yeah.
I'm stoked we were able to do this, and I don't know, man. Thank you to everybody that's watching, and
Let's shout out all your sponsors, Chase.
yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
Can you got them all memorized? Hit me with it.
I gotta pull up my list.
Shout out to Rockstar, Cult Crew, Empire BMX, Fly Bikes, Etnies Bikes, Oakley Bikes, ProTech Helmets, Burn Slow. Did I hit them all?
Every one of them motherfuckers. You know who you are.
I love it, man.
No, for real though, and thank you to everybody that supports Burn Slow. I mean, we're just at the beginning of this shit. I can't wait to show you just everything that we're working on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Leave a comment that says Burn Slow below this video, and then share it on your Instagram, and I'll buy you a Burn Slow shirt. That's what we'll do.
There we go. Hell yeah. Awesome.
All right, Chase. Thank you, man. I gotta go.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Adios. Well, you've reached the end of the video again, man. Thanks for hanging in there all the way. I want to thank Dig BMX one more time. Thank you for partnering on the podcast. Thank you, Chase, for coming on. Don't forget to smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? And I'll see you in the next one. Next Monday, 7 a.m. I don't know how many we've done in a row, but we got some momentum. Leave a comment, whoever you want to see in the next episode. And have a good rest of your day.